Here's what happened yesterday. President Trump bragged about the success, in his eyes, of military troops invading cities at his direction and noted that it's only the beginning in terms of the scope of these occupations to, again, in their words, root out crime and illegal immigrants.
I want to thank Stephen Miller, who's right back in the audience right there. I'd love to have him. I love watching him on television. I'd love to have him come up and explain his true feelings, but maybe not his truest feelings. That might be going a little bit too far.
So here we have the President of the United States in the Oval Office openly joking to the press pool and journalists and the country about how his senior advisor, Stephen Miller, is too extreme for his plans for this country to be said out loud. Best kept silent and just put into action in silence. Let's not say in black and white how we feel about certain groups of people and what we plan on doing to them, what we want to do to them. No further probing into this from the mainstream media, no significant pushback from Americans, from voters, us saying, yeah, we don't want a president who's going to let a white nationalist run the show. This is how we got here. This is how we got to ICE terrorizing peaceful everyday Americans on camera without fear of consequence on an hourly basis. In Chicago, it's happening right now. Shitting on the Constitution without fear of consequence, knowing the Department of Justice and the Supreme Court will not punish or limit any action at all carried out by this administration. You know, we've known the Supreme Court is cooked for so long, but the United States Department of Justice, supposed to be an independent bastion of fairness and liberty and justice in the world for the protection of American laws and people, a storied institution, is right now operating only for half of the country, only for half of Americans. If you disagree with the President of the United States, the Department of Justice, the United States Department of Justice, will not work to defend you should you need it. This is remarkable. Derogatory in a bad way. ICE is descending deeper into neighborhoods in Chicago and just terrorizing Americans. Masks on.
Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
He's American.
He's a citizen! He's a citizen!
Why are you running?
Because you saw you like. He's a citizen! He's a citizen! That's my brother-in-law!
Get the fuck away from me! You don't know what's going on, so get the fuck back! Back up! Back the fuck up!
That's my brother-in-law.
To hear the fear in her voice, to see these masked men covered head to toe, ransacking Walgreens stores, running up and down the aisles like fucking morons. These are human beings. We forget these are men with families and friends who they like sports, they like music, whatever, who wake up every day and make the choice to go from regular citizens to masked agents of the state, to put on the uniform of a heinous, categorically unconstitutional police force. It blows my mind to know that these people are our neighbors, these agents. And I'm praying that more Americans see this and hear videos like this and start saying no louder. It's divided into three parts. People like me, libs like me, who are offended to the core by this, whether it's happening to me or any other American. Independents and conservatives who voted for Trump or didn't vote, but this is psycho and not what they're interested in seeing on their block. And then there's the fascists, of which there are many, there are plenty, a lot more than we think, who see this and lick their chops. They get off on this. They're the ones in power right now. This is the world they want. They've been planning for and are instituting now their 1,000-year Reich. Like, this is it. We're here. It is so incumbent on us other two groups, which combined are bigger, by the way, to defeat this and roll it back into the darkness and work to never let it come out again. Like, whether politics is annoying to you or you're uncomfortable being political, which is so understandable today, or you're annoyed by people overly interested in politics, I don't care. Now is not the time to be a bitch. Mama didn't raise no bitch. Huh? Did she? We're dealing with American fascism in the year 2025. We need your fucking help. Speak up, act, protest, speak up again, vote, anything. NBC News, the sleeper issue that could play a huge role in Virginia and New Jersey and the midterms. Data centers are spreading across the country and contributing to rising electricity bills. It's becoming a political issue as lawmakers are still workshopping their response. The economic narrative heading into the midterms should be very, very clear and easy for Democrats to make, okay? Republicans have no interest in restraining or regulating AI or technology companies whatsoever, which is problematic for whole other existential, societal, economic reasons. But this administration believes that allowing these companies to grow, unfettered, unregulated, building out massive data centers, pushing our grid to the limit, and raising energy costs for Americans is a price Americans should be willing to pay to win the AI war against China. And that's a fine argument and position to take. But I think it's the wrong one. I think we can do both. I think we can win the AI race and have regulations in place to help mitigate the dangers and costs of AI. And I think Democrats should make this argument and act on it, which would mean Democrats, Dem politicians not being bought by these companies, which at the same time, Trump is working overtime to take renewable options offline because he's in the pocket of oil and coal barons and genuinely believes windmills cause cancer and solar doesn't work because clouds. Corruption and stupidity. I mean, the federal government's own data shows abandoning clean energy lead to higher costs. So put these two things together, Democrats. Make a case. It shouldn't be hard. I know you'll probably make it hard. It's not. So I guess my question, when Republican voters, Fox News watchers, hear their representatives say things like, the Democrats are bussing in paid protesters en masse, or the Hate America rally coming up with Hamas. And then these Fox News watchers see millions of Americans, not Hamas, protesting peacefully with American flags, talking about no kings. Again, a famously American founding principle. Is there a disconnect there that maybe leads to some critical thinking?
You know, who pays for the buses to bus a lot of these folks in? Who pays for the trucks that have riot gear?
The Hate America rally that'll happen Saturday. Let's see who shows up for that. I bet you see pro-Hamas supporters. I bet you see Antifa types. I bet you see the Marxists in full display, the people who don't want to stand and defend the foundational truths of this republic.
No disconnect. When you hear Republicans repeat these things over and over and over again, like, well, that's certainly not happening outside my door, so I wonder why they keep trying to convince me of such. Any critical thinking there? No? Mike Johnson also yesterday, he's been on a propaganda run lately, talked about supporting law enforcement, and maybe he's trying to get libs like me to take the bait on it. But I'm going to do it every time.
We've always stood with Capitol Police and law enforcement, and we've shown that in word and deed.
Multiple capital injuries! Multiple capital injuries!
Yeah. It will always be incumbent on me to remind you, whether or not you want to hear it, that the Republican Party defends and supports on their knees on a daily basis the man responsible for that. The man who now lies profusely about what you just saw with your own eyes and ears. The Back the Blue Party, pro-America Party, supported and obviously still supports a traitorous motherfucker whose disciples beat and tortured police in his name in order to overthrow the government of the United States of America. So you can despise Democrats, you can hate their establishment. I kind of do too lately. You can be as conservative as you want. You cannot support the current Republican Party and call yourself a proud American who believes in the ideals of America. Mutually exclusive, my friend. And if you want to talk that out, let's talk it out. I'm happy to. Lastly, as I said yesterday, we unfortunately in the near future will be having to carve out a significant amount of time and energy that we could have spent on innumerable other productive things to fight instead against Nazism. A staffer in Republican Congressman Dave Taylor's office appears to have a lovely American flag hanging in his office on Capitol Hill, though it looks like it's a remixed version of the flag. It's got a swastika in the center. This comes just a day after that bombshell Politico report on Nazism running rank through young Republicans within the party, to which JD Vance also yesterday had some additional insight on.
Focusing on what kids are saying in a group chat, grow up. I'm sorry, focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chats. But I'm going to tell my kids, especially my boys, don't put things on the internet. Like, be careful with what you post. If you put something in a group chat, assume that some scumbag is going to leak it in an effort to try to cause you harm or cause your family harm. But the reality is that kids do stupid things.
Not even getting into the fact that these are some rather old-looking kids. The vice president is admitting his response to this to his children is not, don't be a Nazi. That's the wrong way to think, to live, to view your fellow human beings. That's a miserable way of life. That's not his message to his kids coming out of this. His message is to be sure to not put something online you don't want online, lest you be caught and held accountable for your views and values. That's the lesson. Last thing here. This was yesterday.
I really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very offensive stupid joke, is cause to ruin their lives.
This was a month ago.
So when you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer.
Here we are, America.